Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Nerion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xeno-weapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped, the Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
Alright, without even hearing the other sides of the story, I can already see this is a lot of propaganda. It's giving one side's recount of history, really. I know what the other ones say with what the history is. There'd probably be something close, it'd have to be, if they're allies again. But there'd have to be some difference with all this propaganda stuff, because you hear a lot of them talk about propaganda when I was walking around the city here. So... and you could even tell from a lot of posters around the place.
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nera. Initially occupied
How are you, Phil?
by leading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nera remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
Yeah, I'm pretty well, thanks. Phil, just going through this history. It's the first time playing this game, and yeah, I'm learning. I'm joining this faction, and I'm learning a lot going through it. And I'm guessing the story's going to be different with other factions as well, with what the story is from. Because a lot of them talk about propaganda with certain things before I even got to this point.
You think the Freestar Collective's got a place like this? Probably take too many bribes to get it off the ground.
Okay. So yeah, the other side may have more propaganda than this side is.
The general that condemned Londinian gave it over to these things. One of these murals said he was executed after the war. Might have gotten off too lightly.
That's right. We did a lab there, and when we started out, that made a lot of these monsters. The terror of Lind. Okay, let's find out what this one says.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies war.
Have you played this game before, Phil?
Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day.
Yeah, it's a pretty large game, from what I remember. I can't remember off the top of my head what much room it's taken up, but I'm playing on PC though, so... And I've got a fair bit of room on my hard drives. Plus I move things off to other drives when I don't need them on here. Alright, let's see what this one says.
Devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
Alright, so that people stand trial. Alright. Yeah, I know I've been a PC player for most of my life. I stopped buying consoles back after the Super Nintendo. I've just always then started to see his PC as much more superior, which it has been really. As long as they cost more to get up and going, but yeah, you can just do more with them. And I mean, you're not stuck at what is it, 30 frames per second, or isn't it still these days? Or is it up to 60 frames per second now on the newer consoles? I think they're still now 30 frames per second, isn't it? I'd have to look it up. Yeah, it's been a while. Super Nintendo's a long time ago. Yeah, I went PC out at that point after them. What's this? So small I can't hardly read it. Maybe turn the torch off. There we go. Alright, there shall be an established central archive guided by 3 parties: the Freestar Collective, House of Velrun, and the United Colonies. For the Collective and the prosecution of all knowledge and research and documentation, duplicating, distributing, and in any way related to technology and mechanicalisms banned by the armaments, it shall be governed by the following laws. Access to all information in the archive will be mutually managed by all 3 parties. Access is only permitted by agreement of localized factional representatives. Okay. The faction will be under the direct control of no sovereign faction, with no single party permitted to overrule the others. All decisions regarding the matters to the archives must be Okay, any attempt at unauthorized access will be considered an act of aggression against all parties. Each party commits to defend the other against any such attempts. Amorous article. I guess I'll learn more about that at some point. There's something else down there. And you can't get to it anyway. Well, going PC doesn't mean restrict you from using consoles type, because with the PC, the superior side of it is you can use emulators to still play console games that are only on console. It's not exactly like legal in some ways, a lot of things, or what it not, but it doesn't stop you accessing them, really, in a lot of ways. If you want, if you own the other things, I guess it is legal. And but yeah, there's always emulators, and most games still come out on PC anyway. Or on both. There's only like very few games that are only on consoles. But yeah, you always have the option of emulators, and those things have been around for a long time. Emulators have. Ever since consoles, really.
It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all